Did it. I fixed the Kraken. I don't honestly know how, but I did, and it sounds amazing. I'm recording this little tidbit just to show that I did it. I don't know how I did it because I didn't do what I was told to do. I will go into further detail, but before I put it back together, I just want to show that it lives. So here it is. Pedals bypassed. Pedals on. And channels. So, either it really was just the integrated circuit, and maybe it took a little time for it to take effect. I doubt that. It sounds very fishy. Sounds very incorrect. But it's working, so I'm going to put it back together and see if it still works after I put it back together. I contacted Victory, told them what was going on. One of the techs that I was talking to had me do some testing of particular points. There are several test points on the printed boards. You check for voltage in certain areas and other things. I'm not super great at all of that. I'm still learning. But we went through all the steps, and he didn't like what he saw, so he told me that he was pretty confident that it was the integrated circuit that upscales the voltage multiplier, whatever the proper term is for that. He thinks that was the culprit, and what that is a little op amp looking guy there. It's a Max 1771, and it looks like that. It looks like an op amp. It is an integrated circuit. That's not really focusing. Anyways, so there's a little board in there that I guess is specifically for voltage controls, because this is a tube preamp. Anyways, replaced that little guy, and the symptoms were the same. However, the voltages at the test points did jump up to what they're supposed to be. And when I emailed the tech at Victory back, he said that he wanted me to probe for signal at specific points. I told him I didn't have an oscilloscope. He told me it'd be best to send it in to a service center. Problem is the Victory Service Centers in America are few and far between. So I didn't do that. I went on YouTube and figured out how to make my own DIY signal probe, which is pretty cool. Don't have it out, so I can't really show it to you, but if you are interested in that, you can just Google DIY signal probe, and there's a bunch of stuff out there. I made one in like 15 minutes with crap I had laying around. Anyways, I set this thing back up and turned it on, had everything hooked up, went to probing around in it. As a matter of fact, I have another little video that I took impromptu because the thing just started working out of nowhere. I don't know what I did. I was in the middle of probing it, following the signal, and all of a sudden the signal was running straight through. So I don't know if I bumped something or accidentally arced a bad solder joint back together or what, but here it is. And right now we are running through my pedal board. I've got Fort 33 and a Boss NS2 going, and these are kind of the settings where I like this at the moment. The one thing I don't really like is this bright switch. Leaving it on 0 to me is the best sound. 1 is very muddy, 2 is just bogged down gross. But without further ado, that's actually a lot quieter. That would be why. Let's try it with a different guitar. Let's go yellow. Noise gate's up a little too high. Next. Let's go. Active Fishmans. We are currently on the regular voice. Single coil. Let's go green channel. There's not really a clean setting, we just click it off. I do have to say, the Les Paul with the Seymour Duncan JB in the bridge, probably my favorite sound through the Kraken. Even though Telly also has the same pickup in the bridge, it just doesn't have the same sound. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just Telly versus Les Paul materials, whatever. But I definitely prefer the Les Paul through the Kraken. Anyways, this is what I'm talking about with the muddiness. And that's on the green channel. Just leave that bad boy on 0, it'll be fine. Well, there you have it. A bunch of repetitive guitar riffs. But yeah, the Kraken V4 preamp. No, it's not the 180 watt floor amp model, but it does sound pretty good. I'm running this, like I said, through the Fortin 33 Boss NS2 into the preamp into Logic. In Logic, I have NAD IR loaded up with a couple of V30 cabs. Other than that, I am thoroughly impressed for $60 and a couple of weeks worth of, I don't even know if you could call it troubleshooting because it was more trouble than shooting. But um, overall, having that, I, maybe it was the chip. I don't really know. Maybe the chip just needed to, I don't know. Maybe I accidentally touched something in there and fixed it. I honestly could not tell you what I did. It didn't work. Everything showed to be electrically fine, but no sound. Victory sent me that integrated circuit, swapped it out. Again, everything seemed to be electrically fine, but with correct voltages, still no sound. Built a signal probe, downloaded an app on my phone to generate a signal, and went to probing the different. Basically, all I did was follow the input, jump from board to board, and make sure that signal was going from each board the way it's supposed to. Basically, I was thinking that, if you start at the input and you go to the output of the first board to the second board, if signal's making it to the second board, then everything on the first board's got to be good. From the second board to the third board, if the signal's moving, then everything's got to be good, and so on and so forth. Well, there are 5 boards in there. Signal travels between 4 of them. It goes from the first board to, it goes from the input board to the tube rack board. I don't know what else you would call that. And then it goes to the EQ and the volume and the gain. Like these 3 are on a board, these 4 are on a board. Then there's the board with the tubes, and then the main board that has the input and output and the power supply on it. And then that 5th board is down here in the corner that has the integrated circuit on it. But yeah, all I did was use the tone generator app, use a signal probe, and it makes a little boop noise. If you remember the emergency alert tests back in the day, it sounds exactly like that whenever it would come on. This is just a test. That noise is what the signal generator does. And when you hook up the signal probe and you touch all your points, in and out of all the different boards, you get that boop, boop, boop at each one. And that's how you trace the signal to find out where something's not working the way it should be. In the end, like I said, I don't know what I did as I was testing each of those jumper wires from board to board. All of a sudden, the signal started coming out of this through other speakers that previously had no signal. Maybe you just need a jump start. I don't know. Maybe it was lost in there and it needed a roadmap, and I showed it where to go. I don't know. It just started working, but I can't complain. For, like I said, the initial $60 investment and a couple of weeks worth of trouble, things pretty freaking sweet. But anyways,